Okay, so before you can just dive into QuickBooks and start categorizing everything, all of your different transactions, you have to create the categories first. And in order to do that, we're going to go into your chart of accounts. And this is really where everything starts with your bookkeeping and accounting system. So to hold on for just a second, give you a better explanation of the chart of accounts, it's basically where you map out all of the various categories that possibly show either your assets, your liabilities, your owner's equity, or your income or expenses. So really, if you're diving, you get deeper and deeper into QuickBooks and you're using it for what you should be using it for, which is ultimately to get everything categorized, reconciled, and produce financial statements. And you want to be referring to these financial statements on a regular basis. Two of the main financial statements that you'll use, those reports are the balance sheet and the income statement. Now, the balance sheet is going to show you your assets, so that's what your company owns, and then it'll also show your liabilities. That's what your company owes. And the difference between those two is your owner's equity. Okay, so you think about your house, the equity of your home, if you own a home, the equity of your home is the difference between the value of the house minus the remaining balance on the mortgage. So it's what you own minus what you owe equals your equity. So you think of it that way. Now, your assets for a business are going to be anything your company owns. So that will be any kind of bank account, cash on hand, equipment, land, real estate, vehicles, those types of assets. It's what you own. Those are big things that you own. Your liabilities could be any kind of mortgage, any other notes payable. If you have a credit card or multiple credit cards, those are going to be on your balance sheet. So you take all of those, total them up, subtract the liabilities from the assets, you're left over with your equity. Okay, you're going to create categories for all of those various things that you have, those assets, liabilities, and equity. Those are on your chart of accounts. On the income statement, it's a lot simpler. It's your income and expenses. So you may have one category that tracks income. You may have multiple lines of income. So you can create as many of those as you want. I shouldn't say as many as you want. Depending on your QuickBooks Online plan, you may be limited to 250 additional accounts to add accounts or sub-accounts. So you can add multiple income lines, though, categories. And then your expenses, okay? Now, the trick with the expenses, one thing that I see some companies do, they go a little bit overboard when they dive into QuickBooks, and they want to create an expense category for every possible thing. So if there are office supplies, they start creating an expense category for paper, for toner, for the printer. All these other office supplies they're creating categories for, and that can be okay. But like I said, if you are limited to 250 on your QuickBooks subscription, it actually starts eating away at those 250 pretty quickly. Also, if you were to look at your tax return that you file for your business, there are some certain set categories that are on the tax return. So if you have 400 expense categories, your accountant's going to have to do some work to put those categories together so that they can actually make it fit on the tax return. So to look at your chart of accounts, we actually look over here in accounting. And if you click on that, it'll pop up into your chart of accounts. Should be coming up here. See your chart of accounts. So we notice that Craig is using 44 of the 250 accounts included in your plan. Now, all of these accounts, you will have a standard template chart of accounts when you start a new account with QuickBooks Online. Any account that you want to edit, you can just click on a drop-down arrow here and click Edit. And that'll pop up your account type, your detail type, the name. Now, it's important, this name here, this is the name that will show up on your chart of accounts as well as on your financial reports. So that's what flows through. Your description, that's for internal use only, and it's just to give you a little bit more notes on what you're looking to track here. I'm about out of time. We'll do a part 2 on this. We'll go more in depth on editing and adding accounts for the chart of accounts. Thanks for watching.